Hello and welcome to Turtleton's tutorials. Today we're going to be looking at Minecraft pistons and their use in making a secret staircase. Now, getting straight down to work, we have here a single piston, a sticky piston, connected to a cow, which in turn is connected to a redstone repeater and is wired up to this here switch. You'll see behind this cow we have the sticky piston is connected to our red wool, which represents our step material, which of course can be anything you like. Now if I hit this switch, you'll see that the piston extends and then retracts. So if you would imagine this is your wall, and this is the same type of material as your wall, when you hit the switch, it will become visible and give you a usable stair. Now seeing this in a practical example, here, when I hit the switch, all three of these pistons will extend the red wool, and retract again, and extend, ad infinitum. And here we have the exact same setup, just in this case, we have three pistons, two of which are elevated to the desired level. Now, a slight tweak on this design is to use a push button. Now, when you hit the button, you'll see that the pistons do extend, and they'll extend one after another, and that's because I've used some redstone repeaters here to add a delay to the whole system. Here you'll see that these two redstone repeaters are set to no ticks or no delay. This one is at one full set of delay, and these two here are both at full set of delays. That's 4 ticks. And this gives us a rather nice effect. Now, if we're going to make the most of this, we really need to accessorize our system a little bit. So here we have an explicit OR gate, also known as an XOR gate. And what you have is this symmetrical circuit, and you have these 3 redstone torches set up on the sides of blocks here, and the output goes to this sticky piston with our step. So when you hit one switch, the sticky piston will extend, and if you were to hit the other switch, the sticky piston would also extend. Now, the benefit of this is if you were to say have one switch to represent your downstairs switch and one as your upstairs switch, if you want to go up the stairs, you can extend the pistons or your set of stairs, and then if you're upstairs and you want to retract the staircase, you can hit this piston and it will pull it back in. And similarly, if somebody else wanted to come up, they could, and they could close it off again, or they could come back down, or any basic combination of these. Essentially, when one input only is on, the output's going to be on. So what we can do is if we remove this switch, we can add a set of delays to this using redstone repeaters. Here you'll see that hitting the switch now is a little too quick for the whole system, and the piston will get stuck. But if we add a set of delays, as seen here, we can actually control the length of time that the piston is extended for. Now, just to give some sort of reference to this, a push button will hold out for approximately 9/10 of a second. Each tick on one of these repeaters is 1/10 of a second. So your basic setup is 1/10 of a second, 2/10, 3/10, and 4/10 of a second, or if you prefer, 2/5. So you're going to need 3 repeaters to exceed the time of your button. But of course you can add as many as you want to keep your staircase out for as long as you want, or as short as you want. Okay, so now we need to consider some of the problems we have with staircases. In most rooms you're going to find yourself that you have a corner at some point, and this is the way we can deal with this. As you can see, internal corners are actually very simple to deal with. All you have is your 2 pistons, as you would do normally, and your third piston is just moved along and round the corner. So as you can see, if I extend this, I can easily climb up to the top of this. Here's our redstone wiring route. As you'll see, the first 2 pistons are as you would expect them in the previous designs. Then you have just the root of this redstone wiring with a repeater just to extend the propagational distance of the redstone wire to this piston here. This is our top level piston. And again, this can be retracted. Now, internal corners are fine, but external corners are actually quite difficult. As you'll see here, we have, well, I'll show you the example. As you can see, this does give us a means to actually get up to a higher level around this corner, but we've had to cheat. We've had to use a bookcase here to, if you like, represent a concealable and realistic means of giving us a step which we can't actually control. Now, normally you'd put another bookcase here just to cover up this piston, but I've left it open just to show you that it's very difficult to have a piston on the corner of a wall because it will be exposed. So you couldn't simply just move these two blocks over one row because obviously the piston will be visible in your wall and it won't be concealed at all. Now you can get up here without too much difficulty and make a bit of a tricky jump there, but it's not too bad. And if we have a quick look, we'll see that we have here our wiring as such, and we have, as usual, one delay per piston, or one redstone repeater per piston, and that's pretty much it. If I go back to the top, we'll be able to fall down horribly in the middle of a tutorial. And I've done it twice in a vain attempt to try and hide my final example. Now, if you want to add a little bit of flair to this design, and it's getting dark, so if you'll excuse me for just one moment. If you want to add a bit of flair to the design, you see here this is a very quick method of descending in a very compact space. Now, if I go up to the top of this, you'll be able to see what I mean. We have here a single push button, which when pressed will retract the 3 sets of 2 pistons, one after the other. As you can see there, they'll come back in and they'll go down. So if I just show you this example, and you have to make sure you're standing on it, you'll come down without actually receiving any damage at all. Now, this is quite easy to actually do. You see we have our inverted output from the button, which goes to this set of pistons here, and this row will control 2 pistons. This comes down one level, and this row will control these 2 pistons, and going down to the bottom level, this row will control these 2 pistons, as sort of represented by the different coloured wool. Now, the top pistons aren't given a delay. The second 2 sets of pistons are given a 4-tick delay, and the lowest 2 are given 2 sets of 4-tick delays on the redstone repeaters. And this is quite a nice method of getting down in a very compact way. As you see, we take no damage, and we can even stand here and we'll just get pushed out. Now, here we have the full and final example. This is, if you like, a mock-up of what you might find in a cave or a large house, or anything with suitable room behind it. So obviously putting in a cave is definitely better, as you're going to need a lot of room behind your wall to actually account for all the redstone wiring. But the main thing you'll notice about this example, aside from the wonderful fireplace and luxurious carpeting, is that for the flooring directly above you, there is no way of getting up to it, and there's no visible entrance, and there's no visible staircase. However, if I hit this switch, we have a means of getting up. You see, I will move that and do it again a couple of times. You see that even the floor in our ceiling will allow us to get in. So you'll notice that I have a piston here, and this is visible. This is because I thought I'd show an example of how you can traverse these corners and use some book casing just to make it discreet. So as you'll see, this isn't essential, but this does make it a lot easier to walk around these corners. Here's the example without, and you can see you can traverse this without any hassle, but if you want that extra bonus, you can. So now we're upstairs, you can see all our wonderful tutorial examples. And if we want to get rid of the staircase and get rid of the hole in the floor, we can. You'll notice that this set of pistons here is actually retracting the flooring, so it's basically an inverted output on the other pistons. We can hide that up and we can carry on our business, and if we want to go down again, we can just use this button here. You see, we took no damage and everything is nice and concealed. Now you can see the switch is in the lower position, which before meant that the staircase would be extended, but because of the OR gate it's not. And if we turn it back on, you'll see that the staircase will extend. And we can make our way back up at our leisure. I can leave this up, I can come back down, and I can close the staircase here if I've forgotten to do so earlier. So, this has been Turtleton's Tutorials. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.